SANY0029 is child labor, shanty towns, crime, abuse, disease, starvation, dirt, garbage, and chocolate-colored water. After watching Slumdog Millionaire for my ISU Media TED Talk, multimedia for my ISU, it showed how one is quickly questioned and judged for a poor upbringing. Jamal is a young boy who grew up in the slums and is on the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. After he wins, they quickly arrest him on the suspicion of cheating. Is it right for Jamal to be interrogated just because he came from less? And then, while researching real-life stories, I came across an interview of a young woman who was affected by the recent factory collapse in Bangladesh. Sonia Shampa is a 19-year-old female and has been working at the factory for 5 years. She worked 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. with only an hour break for lunch. There was a quick interview taken with her, and she stated they would let you go to the toilet. They wouldn't even let you go to the toilet unless you had a toilet card, which you had to get from your supervisor. You would get in trouble if you went without one. They would cut your overtime pay if you spent more than 5 minutes. How would you feel if you weren't even allowed to go to the washroom without someone telling you you could? And then she later on went and said, when the Fortune buyers would visit us, they were a totally different atmosphere. They would treat us like family, pay less, make less people come into work, and targets would be much less that day. Sonia's husband was also worked at the factory. The day of the collapse, he went into work and never came back. How would you feel if someone you only had in your family, because your whole family was now giving you up to this man, and you had nothing? She's now 3 months pregnant with no income. Her husband's family took her home pension money and threw her out. Her mother cannot afford her, so she has nothing. How would you feel if you had nothing? Bangladesh has a population of 152.4 million people, and a total of 40% of those are under the poverty line. Under more wide range statistics is that Bangladesh has the large percentage of poor people per square mile. It has been proved that it not only affects the physical, and it also affects the mental state of them. Throughout this semester, I had the great privilege of reading the book On the Road by Jack Kerouac. It was based on a true story of the adventures he takes. It shows how traveling all around the world is really difficult with a little to no money. So he had to hitchhike his way to meet up with Dean. Throughout this journey, he met people also that would be very similar to the way he is, as in the life that he's living with little to not. But then again, he's choosing his own journey because he could easily be a writer. And then after focusing on the topic, after reading On the Road, I chose poverty. And it led me to the book Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Oliver was a boy who was born into a workhouse, as his mother died right after his birth. Oliver was brought up on a child farm until the age of 8, when he was then sold to a coffin maker, where he got paid little to nothing, with no respect from his owner. This shows that child labor has been around for centuries and is still continuing to go on to this day. In Bangladesh, 15% of the children endure some kind of child labor. They often get diseases from their workplace, which can cause an early death. Parents often say they would much prefer for their child to go to school, but they seriously can't afford it. And the average age of a child that works is 12 to 14 years old, and they're mainly females. Is it right that we are studying school right now, while many younger than us are sat working right now? A total of 20% of the population relies on agriculture for their income. Is that a smart idea? When it rains, the fields get flooded. All the seeds are washed away. The average person in poverty makes less than $2 a day, and some of us are complaining about a minimum wage. Is it really that bad? When people look at poverty, they often think that they brought it on themselves. Well, let's think about it. Did they really? Or did the Western world contribute to that? The Western world has contributed tremendously. They are creating the factories in these poorer countries because it's cheaper for them. They are taking advantage of these countries because they know that what will do anything to get them to some, that will create any sort of money for them. It does not cost companies much money to build these factories or pay them. So why not go to this poor country where I won't have to pay minimal wage, pay tons of money for this to build this factory. Like I said earlier, it doesn't cost them anything. These companies know they can demand a high amount from each employee. They have high number of things they want to have per day, and they'll know that they'll get it done, because if they don't get paid. Is it right that companies go? No. These factories have been around for years, and nobody has really done anything about it. Should we try? Why wouldn't we? In conclusion, Bangladesh has taken steps towards bettering themselves and continuing to do so. The family size has quickly decreased from 5.9 to 4.4 within a 10-year span. While the family size is decreasing, it allows more land, which will create possibly more room for schools, which will hopefully lead to better education. With better education, the children are more likely to move past school and get a better job, paying job, and will increase their income. With modern process and delegation, hopefully more resources will become available and each child will get an education they need.